Welcome to the second episode of Run That Back, a new series on the channel where we basically sit here and watch film together for 20 minutes. And this week, we got to talk about the Panthers, and more specifically, we got to talk about Rico Dowdle in this Panthers run game. They've had two back-to-back monster performances capped off by a huge game against the Cowboys defense this past week. And so we'll talk about them, but if you were also looking to hear about the Cowboys defense and their struggles, you're in the right place. So without wasting any more of your time, let's hop right into the film. All right, here we go. Rico Dowdle finishes this game with 30 carries for 183 yards and 4 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown, giving him 239 all-purpose yards. Well, not all-purpose, scrimmage yards. A week after having 200 rushing yards. And we're going to start this one off here very early on in the first quarter with a concept you're going to see a ton of, and you're going to see it hit to the left a lot. Duo. Duo is a bunch of double team blocks. So you're going to get a duo block here from Ike Ekwonu and Damian Lewis, who had a hell of a game each. And then you're going to get the backside double team block from the backup right guard Brady Christensen and the center Cade Mays. And then big on big backside here is Yosh Nijman. You also have, since it's a 2 tight end set, you have Tommy Tremble helping out Mitchell Evans. Mitchell Evans, number 84 here, also had a great day in the run game. And Rico Dowdle is reading this out. Let me get a different color here for you. Rico Dowdle is going to read this one out B-gap to bounce. So essentially what that means is he's reading this linebacker, and a lot of running backs who run duo a lot, James Cook is very good at this. Back in the day, Le'Veon Bell was a master at this, is patience. He's just waiting to see what the linebackers do and letting the linebackers take themselves out of the play. Now, you need your offensive line to be able to physically dominate the defensive line, and that's the point of all these double team blocks, because they got to hold on to them for a very long time. But if you've watched the Cowboys front this year, you know that was not a hard task for this Panthers offensive line. And this is a rookie linebacker right here, so he is the player that Rico Dowdle is going to be reading here. And essentially, if he fills the B gap, Rico's going to bounce. If he tries to replace outside, Rico's going to take it through the B gap. As long as these blocks hold, then he should be good. Now, what ends up happening here is, as you can see, 94 Marshawn Kneeland slanted inside to try to collapse this B gap. And so rather than trying to get to the front shoulder, Mitchell Evans just blocks him down. It's what they were coached to do this game. Just block him down the line and let Rico bounce this. And it would be a little bit better if this linebacker, number 50, was quick to replace outside, if he was quick to spill, but he was not. And that allowed Tommy Tremble to get up to the second level and to get to his outside shoulder. And so Rico Dowdle just sees that and just calmly bounces this. But the safety here, I can't see which safety this is, but the safety here, as you can see, has come up from depth to fill outside. And so Rico Dowdle's one-on-one with him in space, but he makes a miss, and then he cuts it back up the field and gets a nice chunk gain out of that one. And then another one not too long after that, you're going to get a little lead counter play going here. So this receiver over here is just motioning out of the play. He's not going to end up being a part of the actual concept. But what you're going to get here is number 87. Forgive me, I cannot remember his name, but he did a great job blocking this game. He's actually a receiver, not a tight end, and I know that, but I can't remember his name. But anyways, he's going to kind of pull through here and be the lead blocker on this counter play, and everyone else is going to down block. So Icky is going to down block Kenny Clark. Damian Lewis is going to help with Kenny Clark while trying to get to the second level. And then Cade Mays and Brady Christensen are going to do kind of the same thing. And then obviously Yosh Nijman is just going to kick out on the backside. And then you also have Tommy Tremble blocking a defensive end at the point of attack here. And so the most important things that I want to show you on this play are Tommy Tremble one-on-one with this edge rusher, which I believe once again is Marshawn Kneeland. And then this double team on Kenny Clark. So let's just get it rolling, and let's start by watching that double team. So I'll just pause it here. You see Damian Lewis engage with the inside shoulder of Kenny Clark, and now you're seeing Ike Ekwonu come in and get him on the side. And you also see Tommy Tremble one-on-one out here, and Tommy Tremble is going to hold this block the entire play. It's a very impressive point of attack block for a tight end against defensive end. But focus right now on Ike Ekwonu and Kenny Clark and just watch how much he moves him out of this gap right now. They walked him down the line. And also, there's Tommy Tremble getting into it at the second level. So let's rewind a little bit. Come back to the beginning of the play. Rico Dowdle, his footwork here is to just take a very slight counter step and then just come back and follow his lead blocker here on the left side of the line. Let me play this again for you. You can watch Tommy Tremble winning his block down the field, and you also see that just monstrous double team that moved Kenny Clark down the line. And they did this all game. The Panthers just moved bodies all game in the run game, and the Cowboys really had no answer for it because they were just getting physically dominated. And this domination in the run game did not stop. That was just the first quarter. Let's move on to the second quarter, and we're going to run duo once again. So you're going to get this duo block, backside big on big, and then Tommy Tremble is going to handle this edge rusher here. This time we're going to do it out of gun, but same idea for Rico here. He's trying to get through, well, I guess earlier I said it was the B gap. It's really the C gap between the tight end and the tackle. And then he's going to try to bounce it, or he's going to try to cut it back through the A gap. It's really his read wherever he wants to set up the linebacker. But on this play, once again, you get an effective double team from Ike Ekwonu and Damian Lewis, and you also get Kenneth Murray doing something at the second level that I frankly cannot condone. So number 50, the rookie linebacker, remember this, is going to get a little aggressive and try to shoot this front side A gap and clog this hole because he recognizes this is a duo run and hitting to the left, and he ends up getting handled by Cade Mays here, so it doesn't ultimately matter. But that is at least his gap. For whatever reason, Kenneth Murray, with no help, absolutely no help to the outside, tries to scrape over top of him and take away the cutback lane. Again, I can't tell you what exactly he's doing, but Rico Dowdle sees all of this, all of this mess in here occurring, and he also notices Tommy Tremble handling his man soundly one-on-one on the edge, and Rico Dowdle just decides, I'm going to bounce this, and he's got a ton of space to get another chunk gain. So I know I haven't talked about Rico Dowdle himself a whole lot, even though this is the Rico Dowdle video, but I promise you I'm going to talk about him on this play. I just first wanted to touch on the Cowboys linebacker play, also number 87 over here. That is Bryson Tremaine. I did not know his name earlier, but I remember it now. Very honorable job blocking in this game. But anyways, I want to talk about the Cowboys linebackers because they're undisciplined, and that showed up time and time again throughout this game. And all I wanted to say about that is that when you are an undisciplined linebacker core, that makes your defensive line's job a whole lot harder. And also, when you're a defensive line that is getting their asses kicked on every single play, that makes your linebackers' jobs a whole lot harder too. The Cowboys kind of have a perfect storm of bad in their front seven. I wish there was a much more creative and elegant way to say that. But yeah, it's been a perfect storm that when you have undisciplined linebackers and physically inferior defensive linemen, you're going to get gashed constantly. And yes, the Panthers offensive line played very, very well, and I'm not taking anything away from them. But the Cowboys do bear a lot of responsibility in allowing this to happen to them. So with, soapbox over, let's just get into the play. The Panthers are once again running duo to the left side, as they did so many times this game, and I wouldn't have stopped doing it either because it works pretty much every single time they've tried it. Couple of notes here. This double team here on the front side between Mitchell Evans and number 85 is going to be very key for developing this run, because Mitchell Evans is quickly going to take over this one-on-one here with 94. And 85 is going to be able to peel off to the second level and have a one-on-one with number 27, and that's going to make things much nicer here on the as the run develops. So let's start rolling it. And what you'll see here early, excuse me, is Mitchell Evans. He's got this one-on-one block right here, and now 85 is peeling off to the second level to get number 27. Also, Damian Lewis, as you can see back here, he peeled off pretty early, and now Ike Ekwonu is one-on-one with Solomon Thomas here. And as you can see, Solomon Thomas did get moved down a few gaps, but he is turning back into the C gap. And that's important because Rico Dowdle, when he first gets the ball here, is trying to hit this run through the C gap. And initially it looks like it's going to be open for him because, Solomon Thomas got moved down a few gaps and because Mitchell Evans is winning his one-on-one. But as this play is developing, you're going to see Solomon Thomas, fall into this C gap. And you're also going to see Marshawn Kneeland try to work his way into the C gap as well. So this is actually a bounce read for Rico Dowdle. Like when he sees this, the move now is, okay, we're going to bounce this outside. The only issue is that Trayvon Diggs is one-on-one with him outside. Now, he probably could beat Trayvon Diggs one-on-one on the perimeter, but rather than running into that, Rico, at this point, seeing that Diggs has stepped up to the outside and that he trusts both of his tight ends to hold up their blocks over here, he's going to try to squeeze between them and run this through the D gap to get a bigger gain. And it works. He does get ankle tackled by Diggs as he gets through the hole, but he was able to create a gap and create some space out of that run concept, even though the bounce lane, I should say, wasn't there for him. And that to me shows a very, very good feel for the running back position, a very good feel for where space is and where defensive players are going and where their bodies are headed. And you can't sit there and think when you're playing running back. You can't sit there and pre-calculate where you're going to go, where you're going to cut to. But it just comes down to feel. And Rico Dowdle seems to have that feel for space when he's on the field. So this play I wanted to highlight just because it goes to show some of the finer details in the Panthers run game that they've been adding recently that I have really, really appreciated and has made them a lot better. It's not just window dressing when it actually has a purpose. So going into this play, you see the Cowboys front. They have a wide 9 on both sides. They have a 2-eye here in Kenny Clark, and then they have a 3 technique over here in Osa Adigizua. This look, based on what the Panthers are trying to run here, would not be a good look to run into. However, they know that the Cowboys are not going to stay in this front when Bryce Young lifts his leg and motions Xavier Legette across the formation. The Cowboys' new defensive front is what appears to be a 6 or 7, 1 technique, and a 4-eye, and another wide 9. This look is much better to run into because what the Panthers are running is a type of G-lead sweep thing that they're doing. I can't even explain to you what it is. I just have to show it to you because normally when you do G-lead counter, the guard is going to pull out and come into like the C or the B gap or something like that. That's not what's happening here. What the Panthers are doing is, 1, down blocking. Everyone is going to down block. These guys are actually, and then Yosh Nijman is going to kick out. And then Ike Ekwonu is going to speed to the second level to get on the outside shoulder of Kenneth Murray here. And Brady Christensen, the right guard, rather than leading through or behind the tackle, is going to pull and run all the way out onto the perimeter. And Rico Dowdle is going to take this handoff and just follow him all the way out to the corner. And what you'll see is that because of the fronts that the Cowboys moved into after the motion, they just have much easier angles to attack these guys from. Everyone has a much easier job. As a matter of fact, Marshawn Kneeland right here, he would not have been able to get down blocked if it weren't for that motion that moved him into the 7 technique rather than the wide 9 that he was in before. That would have had to be a reach block from Mitchell Evans, which would have made his job, much harder. And so Rico Dowdle is just going to follow Brady Christensen all the way out to the perimeter, and he's blocking a corner. He's not going through any of the offensive line gaps, and he's just got all of this space out here to work with. And this creates a 11, 12-yard gain. It's little things like that Dave Canales has added that have really, encouraged me, because through the first year and a half, I didn't really feel like the Panthers had an identity in the run game, and I didn't really feel like the run game was super buttoned up. And as a matter of fact, when he left Tampa Bay, their run game got a lot better under Liam Cohen. So I kind of got worried that Dave Canales, for all the things that he's very, very good at on the offensive side of the ball, wasn't a guy that was going to design a run game up very well. But he's showing me signs of a guy that not knows what he's doing, because all of these guys know what they're doing, but he's showing me signs of a guy that can really catapult this run game to the next level and is starting to find what this team's identity is. And that identity I was talking about, contrary to what I might have just made you think, is actually steamrolling people, as they have done throughout this game. And they're going to continue to do that here. So we're going to run to the right for the first time this episode, I think. And it's just going to be basic old inside zone. So Yosh Nijman's going to try to reach Sam Williams here, or kick him out. You're going to get a combo block here, which basically means that the right guard and center are going to double team this guy, with the right guard trying to reach the second level. And then you're going to get another combo block back here based on the alignment of Kenny Clark here. It's not going to be a ton of help from Damian Lewis, maybe like a little chip or something. His main goal is to get to the second level to get to this linebacker. Ike Ekwonu just has to get to the front shoulder of Kenny Clark. That's the important thing here. And then Tommy Tremble's going to kick his guy out on the back end. Rico Dowdle is going to read this thing B gap to cutback. So B gap to cutback, just based on the flow of the linebackers, based on wherever the defensive linemen peek their heads out at. And the main read here, since this is hitting to the right, is going to be Kenneth Murray. And you are going to want to pay attention to him on this play. So let's just roll it. And the double team from Cade Mays and Brady Christensen is so dominant that they not only do they bury him with the double team, it carries them right into where Kenneth Murray has set himself up to try and fill his gap in the run game here. And also number 50, I can't remember his name, has come to the front side here and is going to try to come through the front side A gap, and Damian Lewis is just going to block him out this way. And Rico Dowdle feels all of this happen right away and immediately understands that he has to cut back. And Tommy Tremble didn't really hold a block over here on is that Sam Williams? No, it's Marshawn Nealon. I keep getting it mixed up. Doesn't really matter. 94. And he's actually going to be able to get back in this play and make the tackle. Otherwise, this could have potentially been sprung for an even longer gain. But here you go. Rico immediately cuts back and he gets tackled for a decent gain. But the main reason I wanted to show you that play was just to show you the physical domination that the Panthers were putting on the Cowboys defensive line this game. Right side, left side, it did not matter. They were putting them in the turf. And finally, we get to the final drive of the game, and you're going to see a play that we've seen already go to the left. It's going to go to the right this time. It's going to be this guard leading sweep to the outside, and Rico Dowdle's route, of course. And then the backside here, you're going to get a down block from Ike Ekwonu, down block from the center, down block from Brady Christensen, and you're just going to need Yosh Nijman to hold up one-on-one. It's same thing here with Mitchell Evans. And then Tommy Tremble is going to wrap around and crack this linebacker. Now, the Cowboys' alignment here is a little bit better than it was last time, especially the linebackers here. The linebackers are shaded this way already, but as I mentioned earlier, these linebackers aren't exactly the best at knowing what's going on in front of them. And so after the ball is snapped, Kenneth Murray, who is the strong side backer here, kind of inches forward a little bit, just guessing what's coming. And that allows Tommy Tremble to fairly easily get around here and get to his outside shoulder and seal him in. Now, the other very important part of this play that I wanted to show you is freaking Mitchell Evans one-on-one with Jadeveon Clowney, who throughout his career has been a phenomenal edge setter against the run. And he gets around to his outside shoulder, as you'll see in a second, and seals him in to set this play up. So you can watch here. Watch Mitchell Evans. There he is. Get to Clowney's outside shoulder and just pin him in long enough for Rico Dowdle to get around the edge to the outside. And after that, it's Damian Lewis one-on-one with Trayvon Diggs out in space, and that's not a matchup that Trayvon Diggs is probably ever going to win. Yosh Nijman over here getting away with a little bit of a grab of the jersey, but it's okay. We're okay with that. And there goes Rico Dowdle for another big game. And this drive ended up sealing the game. They burned a ton of time off the clock. I don't know off the top of my head, but they were just able to consistently move the ball down the field 5-10 yards at a time. And that's ultimately won them this game. They had Rico Dowdle with 183 rushing yards, just consistently putting the Cowboys defensive linemen on their heels and consistently taking advantage of these, let's just say, overzealous linebackers. Huge day for the Panthers, huge day for Rico Dowdle, and that is the film from this week's episode. And so, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Run That Back. Please leave a like to support the channel, and if you want to see what we're going to break down next week, subscribe, stick around for a while. And with that, until next time.